Welcome to this week's episode of CI Sports Zone. I'm Christopher Husley. Joining with me, as always, is my co-host, Thomas Garverick, and our special guest who we love to have on the show. I dub him our local high school sports expert.
Oh, yeah.
The general manager of Clutch Sports Media, Jonathan Michaels. Fellas,
how we doing?
Fantastic week of football. We had some good Friday Night Lights games, good college games, and then the NFL was great too.
This is the best time of the year, man, when you have a loaded high school football slate that's just like the little appetizer for the weekend, and then great day of football on Saturday and Sunday as well. So ready to just talk about all of it because we saw a lot of interesting football this past weekend.
Yeah,
and if you're a Bears fan, Friday night, Saturday was probably a lot better than Sunday.
Yeah,
I wonder how many Bears fans called in sick today from work.
Oh man,
that
number is probably higher than many would think.
Well, getting rolling here. The first game we're going to talk about, Jonathan. You kind of had a front row seat to this one. A good football game. What were your thoughts on what happened?
Yeah, Metamora, Washington, again, always a good rivalry to be at, and coming into it, I think people were thinking that maybe this Washington Metamora matchup.
That was impressive.
That was
tough kick.
Devin Miller has a heck of a leg, and he could have maybe hit one from 50. He had a kick blocked, but a big win for Washington. I mean, they really, you look at 24-0. It seemed like they won by a bit bigger margin than that. Just because they were so dominant on defense. They, I believe, held Metamora to under, 100 yards maybe total for the game. I don't quote me on that.
100 yards of total offense, give or take?
But yeah, one thing I do know is they held Metamora to less than 1.5 yards per rush and less than 2 yards per play.
That's domination.
And Jonathan, one thing about that's owning the line of scrimmage right there.
Yep.
The Metamora's their front defensive line, I heard you guys talk about it. They just looked massive. They were just some good, big-sized and just good football players. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, and again, there's some new faces on that line for Washington. This year, there are a couple last year. They had a couple 2-3 year starters, and most of the guys on the line this year for Washington, at least on the offensive side, are pretty new, and they also have some new defensive linemen as well. So again, yeah, it was Washington just really just dominating the tempo, saying, hey, this is how we're going to play. And I think Metamora wanted to play a pretty kind of hard-nosed, tough-nosed game, but just couldn't really get much going. Jadon Cranford was battling a bit of some cramps. They couldn't really get him going that much, a ton. Petrie tried to throw a couple deep passes, and one of them looked pretty good, but then there was another one that was picked off right by Owen Klein, and then later that drive, Owen Klein caught that touchdown from Noah Garcia, a sophomore QB who had 2 touchdowns for Washington. So again, we were talking on Friday night, me and Kurt Pegler after our show. We said, I still think the Mid-Illini might run through Washington again this year, even after they lost that first game of the season.
Yeah, it's tough to pick against them when they are just taking care of business like they're doing. I mean, just a ferocious defense. And yeah, I think ultimately it's Washington and Dunlap right now. If we had to pick kind of two front runners, and Morton as well. I cannot forget about the Potters.
Yep.
I would say it's a 3-man race between those 3 teams. They have definitely looked the best so far in the Mid-Illini.
I would agree.
And then kind of moving on was another really, really good football game. We have Dunlap and Pekin.
Game of the week, game of the night. I was at this game. It was just stellar.
And it was that at the end of the fourth quarter, things were getting very interesting in this one. Pekin goes in and has the lead, and then Dunlap on 3rd and 4th down twice hit Sutter for a deep throw to kind of keep the drive alive and kill some time, and just fantastic, fun game to watch. And then this hook and ladder in overtime for Pekin was beautiful. Unfortunately, field goal was missed. Dunlap
with a little bit of their own tush push there.
Yeah.
It was an interesting game. It was definitely, these two teams were feeling each other out. It was only 7-7 after the first half. I think both teams were just trying to find their offensive footing early on. Definitely some conservative play calling. I do want to give a quick shout out to the Pekin students section, because as soon as I showed up to the game and saw them, one of the students comes up to me and goes, hey, you're the guy that was talking about us on the podcast. You said that this was going to be a tough game. And I said, well, yeah, it's Pekin Dunlap. Of course it's going to be a tough game for both teams. So shout out to the Pekin student section for watching, and we appreciate you tuning in. And I've still said I think they are the best student section in our coverage area. I mean, they show up, they show out every single week. It was a blackout for them, but heck of a game for both teams. Obviously, a heartbreaking way to lose a game for Pekin, and obviously they missed Dylan Anderson in this game too. Obviously, not having his pass catching ability in the passing game certainly changed the way that they did things. But a gritty win for Dunlap. Tough place to play in Pekin, and for them to come out of there with a victory. Very impressive for the Eagles, Jonathan.
Yeah, and last year Dunlap lost to Pekin by 1 point. So again, that's a big win for Dunlap. Again, not just in terms of momentum, not just in terms of being in the Mid-Atlantic Conference title race, but also in terms of playoff seeding, because we've seen Dunlap in some past years lose some really close Mid-Atlantic games, and that's the difference between them going 5-4 and playing a 1 or 2 seed on the road in week one versus being 7-2, 6-3, maybe even 8-1 and hosting in the first round. So that's going to be a big win that Dunlap's going to look back on. That's some again, key games coming up. You got Limestone, East Peoria, Canton. I think they should get playoff eligible after that stretch. But again, Washington, Morton, Metamora to close the season. If you can just get one win there, then you're sitting at 7-2, and you're looking at least have a shot of hosting in the first round of the playoffs. So that's a big win for Dunlap.
You know what I learned about the Eagles and why this was such a big win for them? We always talk about Max Sutter. He's a polarizing figure and athlete, right? He's headed to Bama. He's a very good player and a very important piece of that team, obviously. But they were able to win that game with Mac kind of having a bit of a quiet night. And I think Pekin really keyed in on making sure that he wasn't going to beat them. And you saw the running game with Jaden Schmidt and Blake Dietz. They were able to get the job done. And so just an impressive win for the Eagles in that standpoint was, Max Sutter was kind of taken away in this game, and they were still able to find a way to win.
Yeah, and that's the big thing about football is people are going to try to take away your biggest targets. It's all about how you can react and can other people step up. And as you said, that's exactly what happened. And it was overall a fun game to watch. I caught the second half because I was over watching the Metamora Washington, and then I watched the second half, and it was just fun game. Two really good football teams going at it, and
they were throwing haymakers in the second half. It was 7-7. They both came out, and they scored on their opening drive, and it was just back and forth, back and forth. Each team responded after the other one scored, and so that's what we expect. That's what makes football in this area so fun is both teams rose up in the moment to have our game of the week for sure.
Yeah, and the next game we're going to kind of take a look at here is El Paso Gridley and DMAC.
This was a shocking result.
What a win.
A big win for the Titans here. Win. I don't think I wasn't surely expecting this. I don't know about you guys, but
I don't even know if El Paso Gridley's fans may have expected a 41-0 win. At least with the way that DMAC was looking after the first 2 weeks against Chiefs. They beat Eureka by 30. They handled Tremont with ease.
Look at that play.
And
the
Ryan
big man touchdown. That's one of our
Ryan Kerr
Play of the Week nominees right there. It's heck of a play.
It's always a blessing to see a big man get the ball and get into the end zone. Nothing brings me more joy in this world, and there's not a better experience in all of football. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, well, El Paso Gridley, again, that play there from Kerr, Ryan Kerr, their defensive lineman, who I heard is kind of a knack for scoring on defense. I think I heard it's his third or fourth touchdown in his varsity career, which is pretty amazing. But again, defensively, EPG was just dominant. I mean, they held DMAC to single-digit passing yards, relatively kind of held them in check on the ground. And one guy that I've really been impressed with over the first 3 weeks has been their quarterback, Owen Adams. He's playing at I would argue a first-team all Heart of Central Illinois Conference level. He's been doing pretty good. I mean, 11 for 15, 210 yards, 3 touchdowns. So he's efficient. Didn't turn the ball over through the air. Kind of good. Kind of yards per attempt ratio there. I mean, he's averaging 20 yards per reception. He's got some great receivers. A lot of different guys to throw to. So that's a big win for EPG. And I think this
100%
is big. I think this could be a year. EPG, maybe starts to kind of turn that corner, but it starts maybe becoming like a top 10 team in the state. They have 2 really big games though coming up soon. They got Gibson City, Melvin Sibley at home this week, and then Tri-Valley the week after that. Yeah. So big test coming up for EPG. I definitely have an eye on the Titans the rest of the way out.
We talked about DMAC having that stunning win at Eureka week 1. And then EPG just does the same thing. I mean, just an impressive road win, dominated the entire game, dominated the line of scrimmage. El Paso Gridley, this is a team that I'm going to have an eye on the rest of the year for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Again, I would like to I would like to see them, kind of get the get the ground game going a little bit. They were good on the ground, I think. Just looking at box scores and stats, didn't look like they were overly impressive. But man, if they can start getting a good ground presence and start rushing for 100, 200 yards a game on top of this good air attack that they got, I'm feeling pretty good if I'm a Titans fan. Again, their defense has only allowed 20 points all season so far, which is, again, pretty good number that will certainly win you some football games.
And defense always travels.
It does. Sure. Especially it travels in the cold weather months, too, and that's what's key.
Yep.
Yes, I was going to say the same thing, especially when it starts to get cold and airing the ball out is a little bit harder, like on the offense. Everything on offense is hard. Holding on to the football, you're getting hit by people. It's not as fun, so come here in the next couple of weeks as we start to get cold.
No, it definitely hurts more. And I never played football, but I know that when it gets colder, the hits just hurt that much more.
And so that's why establishing a defense early in the season like they did, it's important because now it shows once we start to get cold and offense may kind of hinder a little bit, even if it doesn't, now our defense is showing up. And there's not much a better feeling. Defense wins championships. It's a saying for a reason. If you can have a good defense hold an opponent to 0 points, which I don't care what anyone says, in the game of football, that's hard.
It is.
Not for an hour pretty much of gameplay, and the other team couldn't find a way to score. It's just impressive.
And DMAC's not a bad offense either.
I was about to get there too. That's not taking anything away from DMAC either. It's scoring in football can be complicated, but El Paso, I think it's more of a kudos to El Paso Gridley's defense that they just came out and they played a really well game.
Yeah.
Kind of another big scoring game that kind of surprised me a little bit. Moving on here is Farmington Eureka. The Farmers came out to play some football in this one.
They really did. And again, how about Farmington? They got a freshman quarterback now kind of running the show for them, and he had a really big game back on Friday. I'll pull up his name here in just a quick second, but I mean, again, great defensive showing. Chris, you talked about shutting out a team is always hard, and they did it against Eureka. Eureka was able to get some interceptions in this game, so their secondary played well. But again, Farmington's been looking really good. Jack Runwall had a big game for Farmington. So again, Farmers looking really good at 3-0, and it's so early on. I think this team could be just as good, if not better than last year. Carson Noy, the freshman quarterback for the Farmers, 19 of 25, 232 yards, and 3 tutties. So, again, Farmington's been looking very solid. And, again, the first half of their first game of the year against West Hancock was a little bumpy, but in the 10 quarters they've played since then, it's just been complete domination.
Complete domination, because Elmwood Brimfield got shut out by them as well. I mean, it has just been
it's 58-6.
58-6.
Yeah.
I mean, it has just been absolute domination by the Farmers the last 2 weeks. And again, to your point, Jonathan, this was a team that I saw a lot last year, and I know that they were kind of reloading, and it's impressive how quickly they've been able to integrate the new pieces. And they're humming.
I'm going to jump in here. I want to say one thing about Eureka. I'm going to pull this clip up. Give me 1 second. This interception is kind of crazy. Watch this play right here. Not by 17. Look at that pick. All right.
A full extension.
Yeah, I saw that, and that was kind of impressive.
Literally a fight for the football on the ground.
Great defensive play there. And, as you said, that's a freshman quarterback.
Laying the lumber. You see that? Hit my word. And took him to the wood yard.
That was a really good throw by the quarterback, but a great play. I saw that, and I said we need to at least point out this interception because it wasn't all bad for Eureka. There was good plays like that throughout this game. Just Farmington really played just a solid football game. And
it's always fun, I think, for me, too, just on a side note, it's always fun as one of the football shooters on staff. We always just enjoy watching the other work that our colleagues get. Obviously, Kurt and Patrick are out shooting games, and then we have a few more people on staff shooting games. Alex Berger, who will be on the show, shoots football as well. But it's always fun just to see some of the other clips that we're able to get, and I saw that, and I think Kurt was at that game, and just a neat play to capture, because I'm sure that Eureka watching the back is like, what a play. What a gritty play. So it's always fun just to see all these highlights in real time when, you put together all the work during a football Friday night as quickly as we do.
Yeah, and obviously there's a lot of work that goes in and a lot of people who help us get these clips. So it's always a big shout out to them. So that's always.
And shout out to Jonathan and Clutch for being able to get all those Pekin and Dunlap clips in late. I know that's always really helpful to tell the full story of a football game.
Yeah, I know. Usually about 10 o'clock when the game's wrapping up. I know all you guys were back here at the station, so we were lucky enough that we were there able to help you guys out. That was a good one to be.
You picked wisely. You picked good.
And then one more game we wanted to kind of take a look at here: Bloomington Central versus Tolono Unity. This was a good football game.
Smash mouth game from what I heard.
34-27. I didn't get to watch much of this. I just seen a little bit of these clips, but a solid football game. And obviously, when the score is 34-27, you're getting a little bit of that offense, a little bit of that defense. We're playing some solid football. Is basically what that tells you. And it's always good to see games like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and Central Catholic, again, that's a road win at Tolono Unity, which, again, they were state ranked. They were number 4 in the state. Central Catholic was number 9. So I expect both those teams kind of head in opposite directions down this week's at least AP rankings. But that's a big, big win for Central Catholic in a Illini Prairie Conference that's always very tough. I mean, they sent 6 teams to the playoffs in the last 2 or 3 years, and Tolono Unity, kind of one of those teams that you need to beat if you want to win the IPC. St. Joe Ogden, another one of them. But, BCC has been looking really strong this year. They got Matthew Brady, Volshin Powell, kind of leading the way for them. So there's a lot of good talent. I mean, for a 2A school, BCC has a lot of players that are going to be playing at the next level or have the talent to play at the next level. I think that's going to set them apart from a lot of, kind of those 2A, 3A, maybe even 4A teams that they play sometimes. So good start for the Saints. They're undefeated.
A very good team down in the Twin Cities. Jonathan, really quickly, any other notable performances from this past week before we look ahead to week 4? Hard to believe that we're already at week 4.
Crazy.
It's flying by.
Well, I want to highlight East Peoria's R.J. Jackson. He had over 200 yards again for the Raiders in their win over Limestone. He had 2 touchdowns on the ground. He had a 35-7 win. So he has been really, really big for East Peoria. Now, obviously, again, Limestone, Springfield, Lanphier, Springfield Southeast, maybe not the best teams in the world, but still, R.J. Jackson putting up monster numbers. So definitely have my eye on him. Just some other guys. Eli Bohm, how about for Tremont? Scored 3 touchdowns, 130 yards. Tremont won for the first time in over 2 years. So that's a big win for Tremont over
Huge win. Our Alex Berger is a Tremont grad. I was at that Tremont game, and it was awesome. I actually got one of Eli's touchdowns. He scored on their first possession, and that was really cool. So the whole community erupted when he scored. It was awesome.
That's awesome. Good start for Tremont. And last but not least, certainly not least, this should even be first, Jimmy Lawler for Olympia. 281 rush yards and 6 touchdowns.
That's video game numbers.
6 touchdowns?
School record. And get this, he wasn't the only 200-yard rusher on the team. Brendan Hardiman added 221 yards and 3 touchdowns.
How do you even have that much time in a game to have 2 guys run for 500 yards?
They had over 500 yards on the ground.
Just between the 2 of them.
And Olympia's a team that runs the football almost every single play. They beat Pittsfield 60-20. I mean, Olympia is almost like watching Peoria High, but exclusively on the ground. I mean, they have a heck of an offensive line.
They do.
Well, Jonathan, thank you for pointing those out. Now, moving on, it's 2 teams we've kind of talked about, as Thomas mentioned it a little bit. Looking forward to next week. Washington and Pekin, Jonathan, what do we got here?
Yeah, this is our WMBT Game of the Week. Again, you can watch it live and for free on CIProud.com, 7:30. But we're going to see a great game again. Washington, going to bring their tough-nosed run offense and great defense into this one. Pekin, again, they're looking to kind of rebound. It's 2 tough losses for the Dragons in a row. So, again, definitely going to be, obviously, watching to see if Anderson is back on the field for Pekin. But the thing is, regardless if he is or not, you have to find a way to kind of move past that and find the next man up. So again, for Pekin, Ty Jackson, Jackson Trailer have been great on the ground, but again, you want to find someone else that can allow you to open up that pass attack, even if Anderson is out or even if he's still out there. So
Noah Perfetti made a big play for Pekin on 4th down to keep that drive alive. So maybe somebody like him steps up in this game as well.
Exactly. Again, and for Pekin, again, if they, I know they're a team that really puts a big emphasis on the line of scrimmage. They're going to have to stop Will Freeman in this one for sure.
Yeah, and that was the biggest thing. Freeman's a great player, and he was a big exclamation point in their game last week. So that's going to be kind of the biggest thing. Well, Jonathan, is there any other things people should keep their eye on this week?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of really good Week 4 games that we got to keep an eye on.
Definitely, yeah. I'm keeping an eye a little bit on East Peoria again. They're looking to get to 4-0 against Canton, a Canton team that is better than their 0-3 record. Indicates Metamore and Morton going to be a big game to see who can maybe kind of rival Dunlap and Washington for kind of that Mid-Atlantic race at this point of the year. Kankakee, a normal community, always a big one down in the Twin Cities.
100%.
Kankakee put up 82 points last week after losing
82?
82.
Wow.
Yep, after losing their first 2 games of the year. So they're starting to get things going a bit now. Should be a great game for Lucas Beatty and company. Also, Normal West and Bloomington, also a great game down at BHS this Friday. So those are some good ones to watch. Also, at small school level, Princeville, Elmwood, Broomfield, going to be a good one.
That will be a really good game.
Well, Jonathan, we always appreciate you coming out here and sharing your high school knowledge with us. We're going to take a short break here, and when we get back, we're going to talk a little college football. So once again, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be right back. Hello, and welcome back to CI Sports Zone. I'm Christopher Huslick. Joining with me, as always, as we get into some college football here, Thomas Garverick. Thomas, looking at this great weekend of college football, one of the games I really just wanted to brush up on real fast that I was very impressed with, Georgia Tech and Clemson. Georgia Tech.
Yeah, the best game of the early window slate for sure.
I am on the train of we need to stop hating on Georgia Tech here. All right, they're a good football team. They had big wins last year.
You think people were hating on Georgia Tech?
No, I don't actually. I'm just joking around. But I really like Georgia Tech. Very good football team, and I'm glad to see they're now up in the rankings as they should be. A big win. They fought the whole game, and Haynes King probably went on my list of underrated quarterbacks at this point. I don't think he gets nearly the talk he should. Dual threat. He can throw the ball. He runs for him. He does it all. Great football game, as I said, and he's just a fun player to watch.
Yeah, a gritty win for Georgia Tech. The operation at the end of that game was really impressive. They didn't have a timeout, so they ran a third down play. The clock's ticking down. You're getting the offense off the field. You're getting the special teams on the field, getting set up, and then their kicker just absolutely blast a beauty to walk it off. What a win for them, and just another crushing loss for Clemson, who a team that a lot of people were already down on after losing to LSU in week 1. We talked about their performance last week against Troy. I'm officially out on Clemson. 2 losses now. For them to even think about getting to the college football playoff, they're going to have to run the table and win out and win the ACC. And I haven't seen anything on the field that suggests that that is going to happen, right? I think Kay Klubnik has a lot of stuff that he needs to clean up from the quarterback position. And, yeah, I'm out on Clemson. That was a really tough loss for Dabo Sweeney's crew. But I definitely think that the ACC now runs through Florida State and Miami, who both got the job done again this week.
Yeah, and then obviously Illinois also with another big game this weekend against Western Michigan. Just good football game.
They took care of business. Western Michigan coming in from the MAC, they did what they needed to do. They won 38-0.
It was kind of a slow start, 10-0 at half, but in the second half, 14 points in each quarter. It just took them a little bit to get rolling there. But once they did, Illinois kind of just went off. Sacks weren't as big of an issue this week. They had 1 or 2. They only gave up 1 or 2 sacks, so it's good to see they're kind of building off some of the struggles they had earlier in the season. Struggles, I say, as if they didn't absolutely blow out the first 2 opponents. But you get what I'm saying. Just kind of cleaned it up.
Sure.
And it was a fun game to watch. And
yeah, I think Brett Bielema is thrilled with how these first 3 games went, right? They took care of business against 2 smaller schools at home. They go on the road. They beat Duke. And now they have a really big test against Indiana.
I was going to say that first strong,
nationally televised on NBC, 6:30 Central Time. So that should be a doozy of a football game.
Yeah, their first ranked opponent, and honestly, probably obviously the best football team they've played so far. I'm very interested to see kind of how they do, if they clean up, obviously, and how they go from here. It's
we're going to learn a lot about the Illini. They play Indiana this upcoming week. Then they host USC at home, at Purdue. And then the big game is when Ohio State comes into town. So 3 of the next 4 games for the Illini are against ranked opponents. So we're going to see how good Illinois is.
Yep.
Best game of the day was definitely that Georgia-Tennessee game.
Goodness, I'm not a fan of either, and my heart was racing. What a football game.
That was just a absolutely excruciating loss for Tennessee fans. had that game won on multiple occasions. But kudos to Gunnar Stockton, the Georgia quarterback, on 4th down, just throws a beautiful pylon ball. The receiver makes this just gorgeous catch in the end zone to get the game within 2 points, and then they get the 2-point conversion. And then Tennessee has the opportunity to walk it off. It's tied, and they miss the field goal at the buzzer, then Georgia wins.
We saw quite a bit of missed field goals in some of these football games. It's tragic.
It's just heartbreaking for Tennessee fans. I mean, you just saw it. You could just feel it. All these fans are like, we have not won this game until we see that ball, goes through the goalpost. And you just felt like that kicker was going to miss. And that's just a tough loss for Tennessee, who had that game won on a few different occasions. They just could not get the stop on 4th down. They couldn't get the stop on the 2-point conversion that tied the game. And unfortunately, they weren't able to make that field goal. But hats off to Georgia and Kirby Smart. They keep doing their thing in the SEC. They win these tough road games. And it's why they're one of the best programs in the country right now for football, and they are absolutely a title contender.
100%. And also, one more game that was absolutely a big upset, in my opinion, Vanderbilt over South Carolina. What a showing by the Commodores. Absolutely fantastic football game. South Carolina was ranked 13th, something around there, in the top 15, and Vanderbilt went in and got the job done. Great game by them. Pavia, their quarterback, with an absolute nasty block on one of the defenders. I always love when a quarterback can go and lay someone out. So what a game by them.
Yeah, I think Vandy was obviously an underdog in this game, but unfortunately for South Carolina, their quarterback, who is a top prospect, Lenore Snellers, got injured in this game, and that definitely changed the complexion of the outcome of the game for sure in terms of just what South Carolina was able to do offensively. But Vandy played really well. They ended, despite that injury, they took care of business with a commanding 31-7 win. Really good win for Vandy, a team that not a lot of people had high expectations for in the SEC, but now people are like, okay, we need to take notes on Vanderbilt.
Our digital reporter, Andy Kravitz, who some of you may have read some of his stories, very good at what he does. He's a Vanderbilt grad. So I have been hearing about it all day. Happy for him.
He loved it. Good weekend for Andy.
He got his master's from Missouri too. So both of his teams just playing some really good football. Both are off to 3-0. And honestly, like, a lot of people had been kind of not doubting Vanderbilt, but they really haven't been a talk, and they did well last year too. So I think this is a football team
it's
we're
not
going to see
a team in the SEC
for,
that we talk about a lot, right? Because you have Alabama, you have Georgia and Tennessee and Kentucky and Ole Miss and all these other schools, Auburn. I mean, the list can go on, but really impressive win for Vandy. Really quickly, I mean, obviously the nightcap was excellent with Notre Dame and Texas A&M. Another tough loss for Notre Dame, who now starts the season 0-2 after 3 weeks. They didn't play last week, but man, they looked so good early, and I was just watching it thinking, wow, they might roll the Aggies. But kudos to Texas A&M, a gritty win. I know that there was some controversy on the touchdown, that there might have been a hole, but you know what? Despite that,
it's football.
Really impressive that Texas A&M goes into a very hostile environment down there in South Bend, and they pick up a win, and now Notre Dame is in the same spot as Clemson, right? They're 0-2. The difference with Notre Dame is obviously they're an independent. They're not in a league yet. I know there's been talks about them either going maybe to the SEC or to the Big Ten, but now Notre Dame is in a spot where they are going to absolutely have to win out to be in the conversation to be a college football playoff team. They've obviously lost to two really good teams in Texas A&M and Miami, but we'll see where Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman go from here. That was a really tough one for them to lose.
Yeah, and, like as we kind of said, just fantastic weekend of some football. And while Notre Dame being on the rankings has been kind of a spot for controversy, they lost to two really good football teams. So, I mean, I see either side, but it'll just be interesting to kind of see, can they rebound and continue out this progress they've made. So
yeah, they're all the way down to 24th. I felt like that was a little bit of a harsh drop for them, but we'll see if they can bounce back for sure.
Yeah, well, we're going to take another really fast break here. Alex Berger is going to join us when we get back. We've talked about him a little bit, our Tremont Turk grad, who he's had a great weekend. So we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit of NFL and some fantasy football, and we'll see you soon. Hello and welcome back to the CI Sports Zone. Joining with me, Thomas Garverick, and our resident hot take expert, and Tremont grad. Which congrats on the big win.
Big
Over
win.
1,000 days.
It's over.
Secured the W. Yes, very good. Very
The
good.
streak is
Shout out to
over.
Tremont.
Good for
Yes.
them.
Well, fellas, some good but heartbreaking NFL football this weekend.
From Thursday Night Football on, I was really impressed with the Green Bay Packers once again. I think that just
fantastic
confirmed that they are absolutely for real. And I think that we can all agree that they are definitely the number one contender to the Eagles in the NFC right now. Just dominating on both sides of the football. Jordan Love looks really good. I know he kind of had a tough year. He was injured in the first game, and I felt like he was kind of playing through that injury all year. But Jordan Love looks really good, and that defense just
I was literally about to say
just
Micah
looks
Parsons
outstanding.
and that defense.
Yes.
And I believe they were wearing the whites, weren't they? I don't care what.
They look
was
good.
week one.
I
think.
love the. Oh, was that?
They look
okay.
good. Packers
But
look
They
good.
look- yeah,
they looked good on the field, and they performed well. And so Green Bay Packers are legit. If you have any of their guys on fantasy, you are feeling really good right now. But let's go ahead. Let's talk about Sunday.
Yeah.
Start with the
Do we
early
have to?
slate. Do we have to? Yes, we do. Yeah, this is going to be another rough week for Christopher. It's
Oh,
like, of course,
Lord.
we start this podcast, and the Chiefs are now 0-2. That's just
Oh,
unfortunate for your
Lord.
luck.
It's-
But
yeah.
what,
All right
what
now.
stood out to you guys from that early slate from yesterday?
I am significantly, week by week, I know we're only in week 2, but I am growing more and more intrigued, impressed by the Indianapolis Colts. I think this is a team that's starting to rise. My only question is, are they having the same kind of run that my Carolina Panthers had a few years ago with Sam Darnold? Now, we started 5-0 that year. It's serious. We started 5-0. People were going, oh my gosh, are the Panthers legitimate contenders? Are they for real? And after that, we ended up having a losing season. Daniel Jones, in the past 2 games, he went 22 for 29, 272 yards and a touchdown in week 1.
He's looked unbelievable.
He really has. 23 for 34.
Every Giants fan in America is going, why couldn't you have done this for us?
It's
Why
really
did it
the
take for you
system.
leaving?
He's got Shane Steichen. He's got an offense that believes in him. If this team keeps going, he's got great coordination around him, and he's got a great defense that I don't think is talked about enough. And so I think
Colts have looked really good in 2 weeks.
It's really fun.
Here's a crazy stat. Through the first 2 weeks, guess who the top 2 leading passing quarterbacks in the NFL are?
Danny Dimes.
Danny Dimes is number 2. And Russell Wilson is number 1. Who would have thought? After
game-
2
Oh my
weeks,
gosh.
Russell Wilson, Daniel Jones, as of right now, I know that there's 2 games on Monday Night Football, but just like we all predicted, right? Danny Dimes,
knew.
Russell Wilson. Russ is cooking and Danny's dropping dimes.
Well, you knew what I was.
As Patrick said, if you put money for that to happen, you need to get some help. I know.
Yes. But
insane.
remember what I was saying for fantasy? I said, all right, for those who drafted Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, go ahead and drop them for Daniel Jones. I was saying that as a joke.
And I should have done it.
Now,
It's
he's
insane.
now, he's
Now, to your point, Alex, and this is where we're at with it. Okay, is this something that the Colts can sustain, or is it going to fade away? I'm starting to be in the boat where I do think that this can stay. I don't think Daniel Jones is going to be playing at top 5 quarterback level per se, that what he's doing right now. It's ridiculous. But I do think that this is sustainable. And I think the Colts could legitimately be a playoff football team.
Yes.
They're not turning the ball over on offense. Their defense is making plays. They got some good fortune down the stretch, just a horrible penalty for the Broncos at the end with the engagement leverage thing. And for a 60-yard field goal, it's like, unless it's Brandon Aubrey kicking it, you don't need to do that.
Right.
And then 15-yard penalty, the Colts get a 45-yarder.
Well, and
they make it. They win. They're 2-0.
People were talking about the call, and it was the right call. If you watch, he literally tries to use his try to jump off the back of the guard. Like you said, dude, it was a 60-yard field goal.
It's like you don't need to do that.
Completely
First off, you can't do
unnecessary.
that because it's
against
penalty.
the rules. But
That's
it's
a
just
tough way for the Broncos to lose, but man,
heartbreaking.
big
loss.
comeback win for the Colts because the Broncos led that game pretty much from start to finish.
Yeah.
So that was a really gritty win. So really impressed with the Colts as well. And so if you picked up Daniel Jones after week 1, absolutely hold on to him.
Yeah.
Whether he becomes your starting quarterback, whatever your situation is. If you play in a 2 quarterback league, Daniel Jones is a great second quarterback option right now. or he's a great trade piece if you've got good depth at that position. So definitely take advantage of somebody who's like Daniel Jones, like top 3 fantasy football quarterback right now. Yeah, I'll give you a top 5 running back for him. Done.
Is Russ there too? Is Russell Wilson at that point too, to where he is someone that you could have on your bench and
Absolutely
throw in
not.
with
Russell Wilson, different boat.
Very,
I think very different. He was playing the Cowboys.
Right.
Their defense is not very good.
Right.
It was impressive to see Russ he was launching moon balls. I mean, the throws were impressive. The touchdown to Wendell Robinson, to Malik Neighbors, they were impressive throws.
They were.
I definitely thought after Russ's week 1 game, I'm like, Russell Wilson is done.
Yeah, that was it. We
Give
were
me
saying
Jackson Dart. It's
Yep.
Jackson Dart time.
Absolutely.
And now I think Russell Wilson has bought himself a little bit more time, per se. But
Emphasis
no.
on the little bit.
If you have Russell Wilson, I mean, if somebody is like, oh, I'll give you like something really good and juicy for him in fantasy football, you take that trade and
easily.
You're laughing.
You
for
swindle.
for eternity for that. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, just pretty crazy. But that's why we love fantasy football, right? You just have these crazy just weeks from quarterbacks and guys who are generally not fantasy producers, and here they are. So, and then that Cowboys Giants game, just absolute cinema.
That's a surprise.
Absolute cinema.
How
What a game.
about Brandon Aubrey, bro? What a leg on that dude.
Brandon Aubrey is literally one of the best kickers of all time.
Alex,
Easily.
I'll
say it right now. He is.
Are you going to steal my phrase?
I'm stealing your phrase. He's a bathroom kicker. Why don't you explain what that means?
All right, so this is a phrase that I created. I'm a big Carolina Panthers fan, but I am also just equally as big of a Lamar Jackson fan. And so that means I actually own his jersey. I watch the Ravens games. Justin Tucker, when he was in the league, was kicking field goal after field goal after field goal from long range. And I decided on he is a bathroom kicker, meaning he would line up to kick. I wouldn't watch it. I would go to the bathroom, come back, because I knew he was going to make it.
He knew there'd be 3 more points on the scoreboard.
Yes, that is what Brandon Aubrey is right now. The former
unreal,
software engineer.
Yeah.
He is now the best kicker in the NFL.
His story to the NFL was awesome, and he's really good. And he is my fantasy football kicker.
His wife was just like, "Hey, you could do that." He's like,
He was a soccer player and was watching Red Zone and goes, "I could try it." He goes to his local high school,
and he's unbelievable.
and he's amazing.
23 fantasy points.
That just shows that literally, like,
kickers can help you win a fantasy football week for
He's
sure.
sustainable.
A lot of injuries this week, unfortunately.
especially-
in that early slate.
Yeah.
My heart breaks for Joe Burrow. There's been multiple. Adam Schefter of ESPN, Ian
turf
Rappaport
toe
of
is
NFL
awful.
Network.
Yep.
He's got a grade 3 turf toe injury, which is going to sideline him. Reports are saying for 3 months.
I've never.
He is my quarterback in the WMD league. Thank goodness I have Drake May, but man.
I've never had turf toe, but I know people who have, and it's excruciating. It does not feel good.
I'd imagine not.
And for the people who are going, well, it's a toe injury. Why can't he just suck it up? I'm gonna say this right now. Joe Burrow is one of the toughest quarterbacks in the NFL. So if this injury is sidelining him for 3 months, it must be that bad for him. So really unfortunate. The Bengals were able to find a way to win this game. Jake Browning, their backup quarterback, came in and led a touchdown drive. Very impressive to get the victory. But obviously it's such a bummer for Bengals fans because this team has gone off to bad starts and they're 2-0. And then, of course, Joe Burrow is now out for 3 months. So
that's a
lot of
rip.
fantasy implications. Obviously, this hurts the value of Jamar Chase. Now, Jamar Chase still had an unbelievable game against the Jaguars, but obviously that kind of limits his upside a little bit. T. Higgins, Chase Brown. Obviously, I've been beating the Chase Brown drum all year. So I'm definitely a little bit worried about their overall upside. I still think that those 3 guys for the Bengals are very startable. You are still starting them.
Oh, yeah.
But you just have to temper your expectations and expect for a little bit less of a outcome from them. But
Absolutely.
you're still playing Jamar Chase. You're still playing T. Higgins. You're playing Chase Brown.
Yep.
Don't sell low, because some people might try to go, well, hey, Joe Burrow's out for 3 months. Don't let people do that to you. So, unfortunate injury for him. And then we just learned Monday afternoon that J.J. McCarthy for the Vikings is going to be out. Aaron Jones is unlikely to play. So, a couple quarterback injuries.
Those should just be week to week, if we're not wrong. I believe J.J.
McCarthy, an ankle injury. They just ruled him out for this week. So, hopefully he's back. But obviously, he really struggled on Sunday Night Football.
He did.
So, I believe that Carson Wentz might be the backup quarterback for Minnesota. I'm not 100% sure who the starter is going to be, but That'll be interesting to see how that impacts the value of Justin Jefferson. I know that I'm a big Jordan Mason guy. So if you have Jordan Mason, he is now the RB1 for Minnesota. He's going to get all the touches. So I do like him as a flyer as well.
That sucks. I've been hyping up JJ too, and so
Yeah.
rough injuries are never fun.
No, and we hate seeing injuries. We'll never, ever root for injuries. But
Correct.
not a lot of craziness. Honestly, this was kind of a weird early slate, just kind of hashing over some of the games. My Cleveland Browns got absolutely smoked again. The Ravens were definitely running up the score at the end. And you know what? They do what you want. Lamar Jackson was putting up those MVP numbers early.
And like I said, it's the NFL running up like. If you
honestly,
just stop them.
Just stop them.
Like you're
Just stop 'em.
professional athletes. No one should be complaining about now. If they were doing like flea flickers and hook and ladders like that, okay, dude, you're winning. Or like on siding every time.
Yep.
But it's
And then there's the
you're an
Bears.
NFL team.
And then there's the
Oh,
Bears.
man.
I mean, the Bears.
I'm
how
not
do
even a
you
Bears
All of our
fan.
viewers
I
are
feel
like,
bad for
guys,
everyone."
just don't talk about the Bears this week. Just ignore them.
I will say-
just pretend that game didn't happen. That was a
paper,
tough watch.
On paper, even
watch.
in the blowout, I mean, Caleb Williams doesn't play defense, obviously, but he on paper, 19 for 30, 207 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. While it didn't look amazing on the screen, on paper, it is still okay. Now, was it the worst performance of the season?
How did I know that Alex was going to come on here and be a Caleb Williams defender? This is awesome. This is great.
Here's my thing. Like as a Chiefs fan, I never really paid attention to the Bears, but the last year I've been here, I've been watching them quite a bit because that's what's on the TV. I love watching football.
Right.
Here's the thing I noticed is like they would show promising signs. They'd complete a big pass. They'd complete 2 big runs. False start on the offense. Holding.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams on that pick. Very unfortunate.
There's a lot of pre-snap mistakes that are happening for the Bears that need to get cleaned up. Ben Johnson has acknowledged that, but I'm officially concerned about Caleb Williams. I was a Caleb Williams defender coming into the year, but again, he's making a lot of the same mistakes that he was making last year.
It's off script stuff.
With the interception that he had.
Yeah.
He's rolling out to his right, just throw the ball away. Just throw it away. And he tries to play this hero ball that he got away with at USC because you can get away with that stuff at the college level. You cannot get away with this on Sundays in the NFL.
I want to ask you both, week three, let's say Caleb does the same thing, doesn't do worse, does the same thing or a little better, but has the same performance and it's the same loss. Do you put in Tyson Bagent? Do you? I'm asking. Here's the thing: is
we're not even to week 3 yet, and we've already got this question being asked.
Tyson. Here's the thing.
I think that says it all, though, right?
Yeah.
The
Tyson
fact
is
that
a
Alex, you
proven
even
winner
have
in
the
the system.
courage to ask that kind of question.
Yeah.
And my
already.
thing is you said it. He's committing the same mistakes he was
Every
doing
time.
last year. Now, like as you said, the numbers themselves don't look terrible, but if you watched the game,
I'm going to say this right now. The answer is no.
no.
Caleb Williams was the number 1 overall pick last year. This is not a Bryce Young situation.
Okay,
This is not a Bryce Young situation. Bryce Young and Caleb Williams are
different.
2 different players, 2 different prospects.
Are they?
They are. They are. They are.
They both make
Caleb Williams.
off-script
Caleb
wrong
Williams
decisions.
has a better arm. Caleb Williams,
Yes.
bigger frame, better player, better off script.
Yeah.
Now, he has too many of those plays that you can't have in these games.
Right.
But ludicrous. You are not benching Caleb Williams. You have to allow him to just play a whole year with Ben Johnson. And if it gets to the point at the end of the year where it's like there's no growth in the decision making and some of these missed throws that he's got to make, then that's when you reevaluate. But you just got to let this thing ride out with Caleb for another year.
You're paying him. It's on his rookie contract, but you're tied to this guy. This is one of the big reasons why Ben Johnson came to Chicago.
If Ben Johnson just pulled the plug and said, "Okay, you know what, Caleb, you're benched."
He's a professional man.
Caleb would really have to play some really, really, really poor football, and I'm talking like 4 interceptions. It would take, in my opinion, it would take a lot. So
it's
got to ride it out with Caleb. I think the big concern for the Bears is their defense. Jalen Johnson was just ruled out for the season. You know, their star cornerback. The Lions did literally anything and everything they wanted, and they made it very clear. We are running up the score on Ben Johnson, and we're going to have fun doing it. And that's what they did. Amon-Ra St. Brown was unbelievable. Jared Goff was unreal. The running game looked good. The Lions, after the poor week that they had against the Packers, if you're a fantasy manager, it's like, okay, the Lions are back to doing Lions things. Now, I don't expect Jared Goff to throw for over 300 yards and 5 touchdowns every week, but there were some concerns after week 1. Can Jared Goff still be a good quarterback without Ben Johnson?
Yep.
And he's a very good quarterback at home. So obviously not a good outcome from the Bears.
No.
Rome Odunze was the bright spot, over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns.
So good out
Amazing.
there.
He was good.
Natural.
He was really good. So Rome Odunze, the year 2 breakout, we think is here.
Yeah.
Tough week for the Jets. Justin Fields was also injured. He's in the concussion protocol. So if
tough
he were to
break.
miss time, it would be Tyrod Taylor. And the Jets, after such a promising week 1 game against the Steelers, I just felt like they went backwards big time. Just really struggled. I thought the Bills defense responded really well after Lamar and co did whatever they wanted offensively.
Yeah.
They looked so much better. I mean, the fact that Josh Allen really didn't do anything.
Yeah, he just
in
kind
this
of was
game.
like, here you go.
He just said,
score
all right,
points.
today is the James Cook day, and I'm cool with that.
Well, like as we talked about last week, the three teams that everyone hypes or was looking at this week or this year, the Ravens, Bills, and Chiefs, all had pretty bad week 1 defensive showings, and then all three or at least the
All three.
Yeah, all three really just had good defense. Like defense kind of figured something out.
Chiefs only lost by 3.
It was to the Eagles. So
Absolutely. And then before we get into our Monday night game picks, we got a nice new graphic. Thanks to our Director of Creative Services, James. Shout out to James.
Yes.
We got to talk about the Chiefs. We got to talk about the fact that I said at the beginning of this year, I said this was the year for the Chiefs to get off to a slow start. And guess what? Here we are. They're 0-2. But you know what, Christopher? I will say that game truly could have gone either way. Obviously, Mahomes had the interception on the goal line that changed the complexity of that game.
And like rewatching that, I think everyone's like hating on Travis Kelce. I think both people need a little. Mahomes threw it way out in front of him.
Sure.
And he even said it in the post-game interview. If I wait a split second longer and put it on Travis's body, he catches it, gets smoked, but falls into the end zone. So people are acting like Travis is this old, washed up. Can we not talk about the catches he had earlier in the game? So it's like, I think the Chiefs are going to be fine. That defense really showed back up this week, holding the Eagles.
They played well. I mean, after the Super Bowl,
So
when
it's like-
Hurts and that offense was able to do, I was encouraged.
While it's not promising losing to the Chargers and losing to the Eagles, we can't act like they're not 2 really good football teams.
No, I'm not hitting the panic button on the Chiefs yet. But week 3 is a must-win.
And
they have to win.
Xavier Worthy is another injury. They said he dislocated his shoulder. From what they were saying on the pregame show for the Chiefs is he's kind of like a week-to-week kind of thing. So we're hoping he's back soon. We'll see.
The Chiefs and Andy Reid are like, just get us to week 7.
Once
please.
Xavier Worthy gets
Just
back,
get
it's
us to
going to
week
be a little
7.
bit better. And once Rashee Rice gets back, the Chiefs will be operating at full strength. It'll be fun to watch. I think they're just fine. Maybe the Chargers do pull out the AFC West, but I think the Chiefs will end up being fine. So.
I don't know. You know what? I won't say that they're just. I'm not ready to hit the panic button yet on the Chiefs because it's the Chiefs. They have championship DNA. But
and it's still Mahomes. is still
my
at the
concern
helm.
with the Chiefs is they are very limited with the receivers. Part of the obviously the injuries. That's been my biggest concern is they have no run game. Patrick Mahomes is their leading rusher again.
Yeah.
And for the Chiefs, you have all these receiver injuries. If you cannot manufacture rushing yards, consistent rushing yards out of your running backs, Hunt and Pacheco, 53 yards and 18 carries, that's not going to cut it.
No.
They have got to figure something out with the run game. Isaiah Pacheco was great a couple years ago, and he has not looked the same since his injury. So I think for the Chiefs, they are doing some soul searching on offense again.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, again, if their offense shows up like they did again against the Giants, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
They're in trouble. So a big game for the Chiefs coming up because after they play the Giants, they host the Ravens, and that's going to be a really tough game. And we talked about this last week, and then they play the Jags and the Lions. So we're going to see if the Kansas City Chiefs can respond. All right, we got a few minutes left in our show. Let's go ahead and do our Monday Night Football game picks.
So we kind of talked about this near the end. We have
Look at that beautiful graphic from James.
We have a little friendly bet going on. We're going to pick the Monday night games each week.
Yes.
And as Thomas said, James Kerr from Creative Services and his team have done a great job. I just want to give a shout out to everyone behind the scenes. You guys don't
Services.
see Rob Kalbfis,
Look at
James
that.
Kerr, all of them do a great job of giving us
Amazing.
high quality stuff to run our shows. So as you can see, the three of us here, I won last week. That one little white line in the red down there, that is my tally mark. I am up one.
Christopher,
They
you're
both
like
have
mean
nothing.
mugging in your photo. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
I love it.
Hey, I was
You look great, man.
I was a Kansas kid who was in a big city for the first time. I was
He's a
scared. Okay, all right.
I love it.
But
I love it.
Kind of moving on here. We got two Monday night games.
Two interesting games. We got Tampa
Buccaneers,
Bay and
Texans and Chargers Raiders.
Yeah.
Thomas, what are you? Who are you coming down with this one real quickly?
it's tough because literally everybody and their mother is on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to go into Houston and win this game. And a lot of that is because people love Baker Mayfield, people love Bucky Irving, Mike Evans, and Emeka Egbuka. And you watched Houston in week one, and that offense was just putrid. They have no run game. Nick Chubb's their leading rusher because Joe Mixon's been injured. And so I'm sticking with my guns. I'm going with the Buccaneers. I think they're going to win this game. So give me the Bucs at 6 o'clock. I think the Bucs take out the Texans. So give me that one. So that's my first one. So you guys give me your game pick before we dive into that second game.
Well, I'm also going to go with the Buccaneers. You can't bet against Baker Mayfield. Obviously, CJ Stroud is a good quarterback, but they also have a pretty solid defense, but I just can't bet against the Buccaneers. That's my pick for first game.
Yeah,
And then Christopher.
Last week, fellas, I took a shot and went against you two.
You did, and it
I
worked
was high
out.
on the Vikings. It worked out. I am not doing that again. Give me the Buccaneers.
CJ Stroud, sorry.
Yeah.
I think the Texans are a good football team, but Baker Mayfield these last couple of seasons has really been playing some really good football.
He has.
It's really interesting because the game total is very low. It's in the low 40s.
Yeah.
And kudos because the Texans have a really good defense. So it'll be interesting. I feel like this game is going to be weird. It would not shock me if the Texans win a super low scoring game, but we're going with the Bucs.
All right, Thomas.
Last
Chargers,
game.
Raiders.
Raiders.
I can start us off so you don't have to start them all.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anybody who takes the Raiders is kind of silly. No, I'm just kidding. Give me the Chargers. It's hard to Justin Herbert and Lad McConkey. That's just a good football team. I'm going Chargers. I just don't think while the Raiders are an up and coming team, I just don't think they'll get it done tomorrow night. Tonight.
Okay. Alex?
For me, I'm also going Chargers. Justin Herbert is turning into a star of this year, and he's a great quarterback in general. Lad McConkey, obviously, this is kind of like a Stafford Cooper Cup situation I think we saw in the Rams Super Bowl year. So give me the Chargers.
You know what's really funny? Mm-hmm. So I love the Chargers.
Uh-oh.
I love the Chargers.
Do you love Geno Smith more?
But
Or Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, first game as Las Vegas Raiders in their home. Give me the home underdog to win this game tonight. I'm gonna take Vegas.
I like mushrooms on my pizza, by the way, Thomas. Just to let you know.
I officiate a wedding, and over the summer, my buddy, he's a big Raiders fan, so I'll make sure to send him this because he's gonna love that.
I'm gonna take Vegas. I liked what I saw in Week 1, and I think it's a divisional game. It's going to be a close game, and everybody thinks, oh, Justin Herbert and the Chargers are going to come in and win. And let me take Pete Carroll and Geno Smith to get the job done. Now, obviously, if Brock Bowers is limited in this game, that's going to be a tough one, and I don't know if they can win. But give me the Raiders. Let's be different, because if we all pick the same, then I'm not going to make any.
Then it's boring.
Any headway. So I'll take the Raiders. So on that note, all right, we got 2 game picks tonight. So 2 games to put us right in line.
Who's buying the pizza?
Who's buying the pizza?
It's going to come down. It's going to be a good one, fellas. And as I said, as of right now, I am up. I have won. I won that last week picking the Vikings. They both picked the Bears, so they both have 0. So
we got to wrap up.
We got. Hey, will you let me finish talking?
We're at 2. The clock is ticking. We got to close out of here.
Well, those, as we said 100 times, a great week of football, and we really appreciate everyone for joining us. We'll be back next Monday at same time, 2 o'clock. Alex is going to try to join us again.
Sure will.
And we look forward to seeing everyone and look forward to another really great weekend of football. So
Oh, yeah. Daniel Jones MVP.
we'll see you guys later.